All right, so you want to know about Havran, Turkey. Not just like the basic facts, but the real deep stuff.
Yeah, we've gone way beyond Wikipedia for this one.
Maps, historical records, people's stories, and we've got it all. It's going to be a fantastic deep dive.
Really fascinating stuff.
First things first, though. Where is Havran? Like, if I pulled out a map of Turkey, where would I stick a pin?
Okay, so you'd be looking at the Balıkesir Province. Havran is inland from the Edremit Gulf,
Ah, so not right on the beach.
but not too far. And it's got a view of the Madra Mountains
Mountains?
and the Kaz Mountains.
Okay, so not beachfront, but mountain views. That's kind of cool. I'm picturing it now. But what about the name itself, Havran? Does that, like, translate to something?
It actually comes from the Havran River Havran Saya in Turkish, which runs through the area.
Makes sense. I mean, tons of places are named after rivers or lakes, right?
Oh, yeah. It's super common, especially historically, to name settlements after water sources. I mean, think about it.
Water
Right.
Heath.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially back then.
Okay, speaking of back then, Havran's got a pretty long history, right?
Oh, layers and layers of history. We're talking ancient civilizations, Greek, Roman, Byzantine.
Wow.
During the Roman period, there was actually a huge pottery industry in Havran. They've found kilns from that time.
No way.
Yeah, pottery fragments too. Really shows you how connected Havran was to like the wider Roman economy.
So it wasn't just some random village, they were like trading partners.
Oh yeah, they were plugged into that whole ancient world.
That's cool. What happened when the Ottomans showed up? Did things change much?
Well, under the Ottomans, it actually became an administrative center. You know, they divided their empire into smaller units,
Right.
and Havran was like the capital of one of those.
Oh, so it was important.
Yep. It's also when Havran got a reputation for its agriculture, olives, grapes, all that.
So when did the whole olive oil thing start?
By the 19th century, they were a major player in the olive oil trade. There are actual records of Havran's olive oil being shipped out to Istanbul, even across the Mediterranean.
Hold up. So they weren't just growing olives, they were like exporting.
Big time. It was a real source of wealth. And it gave Havran some clout, you know?
So olive oil was like their claim to fame.
Yeah, kind of like that. It
Yeah.
really put them on the map.
That's wild. Okay, so we've got history, trade, all that. But I'm curious about the actual land around Havran. What's it like?
Really beautiful. You've got fertile land for farming, olive groves everywhere, the Havran River winding through it all.
Peaceful?
And then you have the Madra Mountains
Right, the mountains.
with lush forests, natural springs.
Wait, didn't you say there were two mountain ranges?
Yeah, the Madra Mountains and the Kaz Mountains.
Wow, that's a lot of mountain action.
And they weren't just pretty scenery. Think about the role they played trade routes. You know, who went where,
Oh, yeah.
migration patterns, even how people defended themselves.
The mountains were like strategic.
Totally. They shaped everything. I bet those mountains have seen a lot. Okay, but let's shift gears for a sec. Imagine we're walking into Havran itself, the town. What's it look like?
Picture a mix of architectural styles. You'll see traditional Turkish houses and some later Ottoman-era buildings, too.
Okay, I can see it.
Some have those gorgeous wooden balconies, very ornate. Then you've got timber-framed houses lining cobblestone streets.
Charming.
And here's the thing. You might even stumble upon some old Greek houses.
Oh, wow.
It's a real reminder that Havran has this super diverse past.
It's like this living history book. But what about the people? What's the vibe?
Well, the people in Havran are known for being very welcoming, very hospitable,
Okay, good to know.
and they've got these vibrant folk traditions. Music, dancing, crafts, things that have been passed down for generations.
That's a lot.
They also have a really strong sense of community. Lots of local festivals, bustling markets, agricultural fairs, stuff that brings everyone together.
I love that. It's not just buildings. It's the people that make a place special, right?
Mm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And a great example of that is the traditional coffee house, the Kavahain.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of those.
It's not just for coffee. It's where people gather, chat, play games, find out what's going on.
like a community center almost.
Yeah, exactly. It's a big part of life in Havran.
Okay, I'm picturing myself sipping some strong Turkish coffee right now. But seriously, what would a normal day be like in Havran? Like from sunrise to sunset?
Life in Havran moves at a different pace.
Slower.
Definitely more connected to like the rhythms of nature and tradition. Imagine waking up to roosters, maybe
Yeah.
the smell of fresh bread baking.
Yeah.
If you peeked into a house, you might find families having breakfast together.
Ah, what are they eating?
Fresh bread, probably dipped in olive oil, some cheese from a local farm, maybe some olives and fruit from their garden.
Sounds healthy.
It is. And then
And then,
a lot of the day revolves around agriculture, especially olives. People go out and tend to their groves.
pruning, harvesting, all that.
It depends on the season, but yeah, they're working the land.
It's hard work.
It is. But it connects them to the land, to their community.
It's more than just a job, it's a way of life.
Exactly. And it's something they're proud of. Generations of people in Havran have done this.
It's in their blood.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the work part. But what about after work? Where do people hang out? What do they do for fun?
Well, for the men, it's often back to the coffee house.
Of course.
Women often gather in each other's homes or sometimes at the market.
Just chatting, catching up.
Exactly. Building that social connection.
And you mentioned the market. Tell me more about that. What's it like?
Picture it. Stalls piled high with fresh produce, local honey, spices, handmade crafts.
Sounds lively.
Oh, it is. It's not just about shopping, though. It's a place to see people, gossip, feel the energy of the town.
Okay, I'm totally adding Visit Havran's Market to my bucket list. Now, I'm curious about the kids in Havran. What's it like growing up there?
Well, for kids, there's a lot of focus on playing outdoors,
Makes sense.
exploring nature, helping out with chores, It's very different from growing up in a city,
Yeah, a lot more freedom.
definitely. And they learn a lot of practical skills just from being involved in daily life.
Okay, that makes sense. What about teenagers? Are they bored out of their minds?
Not at all. They hang out in parks, cafes, maybe play some football or volleyball. There are cultural activities too, like folk dancing, music classes.
Cool, so they get a mix of like traditional stuff and modern stuff.
Yep, exactly that.
That's a good balance. Okay, before we move on, I have to ask about the food. I mean, we know olives are a big deal, but what else defines Havran's cuisine?
Think about fresh, seasonal ingredients,
Yeah.
traditional cooking methods, and of course that amazing olive oil.
Okay, take me on a taste bud journey. What are some dishes I absolutely have to try?
One classic is zeytinyağlı enginar, artichokes braised in olive oil,
Artichokes.
with lemon juice and fresh dill.
Simple, but sounds good.
Oh, it is. The flavors really pop. Then there's sarma vine leaves stuffed with rice, herbs, sometimes minced meat.
Ooh, stuffed vine leaves. Love those.
They take time to make. It's often a community effort. And if you want something heartier, there's kuzu tandir. It's lamb, slow-cooked in a traditional clay oven called a tandir.
Okay, that one I need to try.
The lamb is so tender and flavorful with this smoky aroma.
I'm sold. But beyond specific dishes, what are the core flavors of Havran's food? What makes it unique?
Definitely the olive oil. It's in almost everything.
Of course.
But it's not just any olive oil. It's Havran olive oil. High quality, they have a real pride in it.
Local and delicious. What else?
Lots of fresh herbs, dill, parsley, mint. And they're big on seasonality. What you eat depends on what's fresh from the farms and gardens.
So it's a cuisine that's literally connected to the land.
It really is.
I love that. Okay, before we wrap up this part, I'm curious about religion in Havran. What's the spiritual scene like?
Most people in Havran are Muslim, and Islam is a big part of their lives. You'll see mosques everywhere. And during Ramadan, there's this special energy in the air.
Fasting, praying.
Yeah, but it's also about community. Families get together for iftar, that's the breaking of the fast at sunset, and they often share meals with neighbors and friends.
I see. So it's about more than just the religious aspect. It's social, too.
Exactly. But even outside of Ramadan, Islam influences daily life a lot.
How so?
Well, you'll see people dressing modestly, not drinking alcohol. They often give to charity.
Right.
And there are religious holidays throughout the year with special foods and celebrations.
It sounds like it's really woven into the fabric of life there.
It is. For a lot of people in Havran, Islam is more than just a religion. It's a way of life. It guides them, it gives them a community, it connects them to something bigger than themselves.
That's a beautiful way to put it. We've covered so much already: history, the landscape, daily life, even spirituality. It's amazing how much there is to this one little town.
Right? We're just getting started. And what's really cool is how Havran balances tradition with modern life.
That's true. We've seen how those old agricultural ways still exist, but there are new ideas too. Those ancient stories are still around, but people have modern lifestyles.
It's a really interesting mix.
It's like they're holding on to the past while stepping into the future.
Exactly. And it seems to be working for them.
Well, that's all the time we have for this first part of our Havran deep dive.
But don't worry, there's more to come. We've got a lot more to explore about this amazing Turkish town.
Stay tuned for part 2, where we're going to go off the beaten path and uncover some of Havran's best-kept secrets.
You won't want to miss it.
All right, welcome back to our Havran deep dive. We really started to get a feel for this place in part 1, its history, the people.
Yeah, we got a good taste.
Now it's time to explore a bit, go off the beaten path, right?
Absolutely. Havran's got so much to offer.
Okay, so where are we headed first on this off-the-map adventure? Give me the inside scoop.
Remember those mountains we talked about?
Yeah, the Madra and the...
The Madra Mountains especially are incredible.
What do you mean?
They've got this huge potential for ecotourism.
Ecotourism. Okay, so like hiking, nature stuff.
Think lush forests, hidden waterfalls, natural springs. It's like a paradise for nature lovers.
Ooh, yeah, I could see that. I'm picturing those forests. But are we talking like intense hikes or more chill trails?
There's something for everyone. You can find well-marked trails that wind through pine forests and lead to these amazing views.
Panoramic views?
Oh, yeah. And you might even find some ancient ruins along the way.
No way!
But if you're feeling more adventurous, you can go off-trail, explore the rugged terrain, maybe even discover a hidden cave or two.
Hidden caves. Okay, you've got my attention. And what about those natural springs you mentioned? Are they like just regular springs?
Some of them are believed to have healing properties.
Really?
Locals have been using them for centuries, soaking in the water. They say it's good for your health.
So it's like a natural spa hidden in the mountains?
Pretty much.
I love it. Okay, so we've got mountains, hidden springs. What else does Havran have up its sleeve?
Well, how about stepping back in time?
Time travel.
Not quite. But Havran has these amazing historic villages.
Oh, yeah, I love those. What are they like?
Each one has its own unique charm, its own stories. It's like a glimpse into a simpler time, a more traditional way of life.
Okay, I'm picturing cobblestone streets, those beautiful old houses.
Exactly. One village you should check out is called Sicik. It's known for its Ottoman-era houses. They're so well preserved with intricate woodwork, these beautiful balconies.
I can picture it.
It's like walking through a living museum.
That's awesome. Are there other villages worth seeing?
There's Küçükkören, which is nestled in a valley, surrounded by olive groves and vineyards. It's super peaceful, and the scenery is breathtaking.
Sounds relaxing.
It is. The villagers there are known for their carpet weaving.
Oh, wow.
They use traditional techniques, natural dyes. The carpets are stunning.
Okay, mountains, villages, ancient ruins. What about something sweet? Any local treats we should know about?
Oh, Havran has something really special there, honey.
Honey. Okay, tell me more.
It's made from the wildflowers that grow in the Kaz Mountains.
To mountain honey.
Yep. Each jar is like a taste of that unique landscape.
What makes it so special? I mean, honey is honey, right?
It's all about the biodiversity. See, different wildflowers bloom throughout the year, so the honey's flavor actually changes with the seasons.
Wow.
Sometimes it's light and floral, sometimes it's darker and richer.
Okay, I'm definitely putting that on my list. Where can I find this honey?
You'll see it at the weekly market for sure.
Yeah.
Or you can visit some of the beekeepers in the villages.
Oh, that's a cool idea.
Yeah, they'll let you try different varieties, explain the whole process. It's a real connection to the land,
I love that. Okay, this all sounds amazing, but I have to ask. Every place has its downsides, right? What are some of the challenges facing Havran?
You're right. It's not all sunshine and roses. One big challenge is rural depopulation.
What do you mean?
Young people are leaving, moving to the cities for jobs, a faster pace of life. It's happening in a lot of rural areas.
Yeah, that's tough. It's hard to compete with the city sometimes. So what's Havran doing about it?
They're trying to find ways to boost sustainable tourism, which would create jobs and help the economy, but without, changing the character of the town.
I see. Keep it authentic.
Exactly. And they're also doing things to support local farmers and artisans, helping them stay competitive, preserve their crafts.
So keeping those traditions alive.
Yep. It's about making sure that what makes Havran unique doesn't disappear.
I like that. But there's another challenge, right? The big one.
Climate change.
Yeah, it's affecting everyone.
It's a global issue, but it has a real impact on Havran, especially on the agriculture. Think about it.
More extreme weather.
Droughts, floods, unpredictable seasons. All that can affect how much food they can grow.
And that impacts people's livelihoods.
Exactly. What happens globally really does affect these local communities.
That's true. So how are they coping with that?
Well, there are efforts to develop crops that can withstand droughts.
Smart.
And they're improving their water conservation methods, looking at new ways to farm that can handle these changes.
So adapting, being innovative. I admire their spirit. It seems like they're really committed to creating a future for Havran.
Yeah, a future that's sustainable but also honors their traditions.
That's a good way to put it. It's about finding that balance.
Welcome back. It's been an amazing journey through Havran so far. We've seen its history, explored hidden gems, even talk about some of the tough stuff it's facing.
It's a fascinating place, that's for sure.
Yeah. But now I want to look ahead. What does the future hold for Havran?
Well, Havran's at a crossroads.
What do you mean?
It's this town that's so connected to its past, but it's also looking to the future, trying to figure out how to grow and thrive.
So how do they do that? How do they move forward without losing what makes them special? That's the big question. We've talked about sustainable tourism, and I think that has a lot of potential.
Right, right.
Havran has so much to offer visitors, the landscapes, the history, the culture, the food. They could really be a model for responsible tourism.
I can see it. Eco-friendly places to stay, hiking trails with amazing views, cooking classes where you can learn to make those delicious dishes we talked about.
Exactly. And it's not just about attracting tourists, it's about creating opportunities for the people who live there, helping them preserve their traditions, share their story with the world.
It's about making sure everyone benefits.
Yep, exactly.
But what about beyond tourism? What other possibilities are there for Havran?
Well, there's a lot of room for innovation, especially in agriculture.
Okay, like what?
We know their olive oil is amazing, but what if they explored new products, new markets, organic olive oil, specialty varieties, maybe even olive oil-based beauty products? They could tap into those trends and really boost their economy.
Olive oil, beauty products. Now that's thinking outside the box. It's like taking something traditional and finding a new way to make it relevant.
Exactly. And that kind of innovation could even attract younger people back to Havran, bring fresh energy, new ideas.
So it's about creating a future where tradition and progress can work together.
Exactly.
But we have to be realistic. There are going to be challenges too,
Of
right?
course. Rural depopulation is a big one. How do you make a small town appealing to young people when they're drawn to the excitement of the city, the job opportunities?
It's a tough one for sure. What can they do?
Investing in education is key. Give young people the skills they need to succeed, whether they stay in Havran or go somewhere else.
Okay, makes sense.
And supporting entrepreneurship. Create an environment where young people can start businesses, be innovative.
Give them a reason to stay to invest in their hometown.
That's it.
But what about keeping Havran's unique character? I mean, how do they make sure it doesn't get lost in all this change?
That's so important. The world is becoming more and more interconnected. It's easy for local traditions to fade away.
Yeah.
Havran needs to actively protect its cultural heritage, support its artisans, celebrate its festivals, make sure those traditions are passed on to the next generation.
So it's about striking that balance between moving forward and honoring the past.
Yeah, exactly. And let's not forget about climate change.
Right. We talked about how it could affect agriculture, but are there other ways Havran might feel the impact?
Water scarcity is a growing concern.
Oh, yeah, those mountains.
The Kaz Mountains are a major source of water for the whole region.
Right.
But with rainfall patterns changing, there could be shortages. That would affect everything from farming to daily life.
It's crazy how these environmental issues impact every part of a community.
They do.
So what can they do about it?
They have to prioritize water conservation. Things like using water more efficiently for irrigation, planting crops that don't need as much water, raising awareness about using water responsibly. But honestly, it's not just a local issue. It requires everyone working together to address climate change.
It's a global challenge, for sure. So with all these challenges ahead, what makes you hopeful about Havran's future?
It's the people, honestly. They have this incredible pride in their heritage. They're resilient. They're passionate about their town.
Yeah, we've seen that.
They're willing to work hard, to adapt, to come up with creative solutions. And they understand that community is everything, that they have to work together to overcome these challenges.
It's that spirit that can really make a difference. Sometimes it's easy to feel overwhelmed by all the big problems in the world, but then you see a place like Havran.
Exactly. It showed you that change can happen, even in a small town.
It's a microcosm, right?
Yeah. Havran is like a little snapshot of what's happening all over the world. That tension between tradition and progress, the need for sustainability, the power of people coming together. It's inspiring, you know?
It really is. It's a reminder that we can all learn from each other no matter where we are.
Absolutely.
Well, that brings us to the end of our Havran deep dive. We've gone from its ancient past to its hopeful future. It's been quite a journey.
It really has.
But like any good journey, the most important thing is what we take away from it. What will you remember about Havran? What resonated with you? Maybe it's the resilience of the people, the beauty of the landscape, the wisdom of those old traditions. Whatever it is, hold on to that feeling, that inspiration. See how you can apply those lessons to your own life, to your own community. Because Havron reminds us that even in a world facing huge challenges, there's always hope, always potential, always a reason to keep exploring, to keep learning, to keep connecting. Thanks for joining us on this amazing deep dive.